Hello and welcome to another Fantasy Threesome FPL podcast. It's Monday night. The Wolves-Liverpool game has just kicked off and we're recording mid-game. So we're all very excited about Salah's haul. How I'm here with Anthony. Anthony, how are you?
Yes, I am not too bad, thank you, mate. Not too bad. I'm not hoping for a Salah haul, though, and I don't think you'll get one, I'm afraid, mate. But other than that, I'm good.
Oh, Mike, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Good to be with you again, lads.
Always.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, never a chore. Mike, how was your game week? Been a funny one. Some mixed results. sorry, you lit. Sorry for those on the audio podcast. He was millimeters away from digesting something, and he pulled it back out of his mouth to talk. Mike?
I'm really sorry. Yeah, well, I'm so used to at this point. You go on a sort of some inane monologue for a couple of minutes, and I thought I had time to scoop a bit of ice cream down me. But my game week, let's have a quick look. It wasn't fantastic, but then I'm not sure it was for anybody really, was it?
It was a bit of a shocker, wasn't it?
Yeah, it came out with 45 points and a couple of injuries. So all ones and twos or zeros, with the exception of Mount got me 3, Calvert-Lewin got me 6, and Vardy got me 26 captained.
Wow.
So 13 doubled up to 26. Interesting, though, that Jamie Vardy, I was hearing today, has scored 1 goal in his last 15 games.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's mad.
So
good stat.
Hey, there you go. But I've stuck with him, and finally it came good. Boys, I'm really sorry. We're gonna have to start again.
Why?
We'll have to cut this because I can hear myself back in one of your headphones. I think you need to turn it down a bit.
Okay.
I'm definitely too loud in one of your ears for sure.
Well, you're quite loud in my ear, but so is Ant.
Okay.
Hey, hang on, let me just turn it down.
I don't know how I can change that, really.
Yeah, I could just hear myself back quite.
What about? Is it okay now?
Hello.
Hello. Mike Botto on the ones and twos. Yeah, that's better now.
Okay, we can just carry on.
Okay, you can edit this at some point then.
I can edit the audio out, and the video can stay. And
amazing news.
That'd be a beautiful thing. Enjoy, folks. Okay, so
it wasn't a bad week then.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess not. I mean, I think I probably made a few transfers. I made 3 transfers, so you can take 8 points off that. So it gives me a net of 35, which doesn't feel very good. And if I look at my leagues, I'm only up in 1.
Okay. Yeah. Anthony, how did you get on?
Very similar to Mike. It was just a bit of a shocker all round, really, wasn't it? So there's a great tweet from the official FPL over the weekend with all the big name players. It started on Friday night, didn't it, when Newcastle scored that 94th minute goal, and Martinez, all the Martinez owners, myself included, were not happy, especially as originally Ollie Watkins was given the goal, I think, wasn't he? And then it went down as an own goal, and you saw people having like 20-point swings, just because of that one goal. But yeah, sat here with 44 points at the moment. I didn't have Jamie Vardy to save me this week. I did, however, have John Stones. Kept the faith with him, and he was by far my highest scorer with 14. Sterling, not in the squad. Gundogan,
no.
Don't bother. Don't bother playing in Pep. Goodness sake. Yeah, brought in, obviously started Keane. Everton at home to Burnley. They're bound to win that game comfortably. Nope, 1 point for him. So yeah, basically, I jumped on the Harry Kane bandwagon captain this week because he always scores against Arsenal. 2 points. So yeah, but for John Stones, brilliant. But for John Stones with his 14, that was it, boys. Aspilicueta got me 6, Wan-Bissaka 5, and Watkins got 5. So yeah, sat here at the moment with 44 points all done, but at least I didn't make any transfers. So that is.
What does that mean at the top of the table, Andy?
Well, I mean, I might have got to the top of the table.
Okay, yeah, because you got over 100 points this week, didn't you? Go on then, Phil. Let's hear about your week, mate.
Well, I mean, my week wasn't looking very good. It was troublesome, but I think it's going to end on 67, which I'll be really pleased with. So that'd be good. 67. I was going into today. I mean, if Salah doesn't haul, then I'll end up on 28. But if Salah does what I'm expecting, then it'll be 67. I mean, to be honest, it's very Salah dependent, and obviously this will go out after that game has happened.
Sorry. What is your assumption that Salah will do tonight to get you to that 67?
Oh, about 39 points, something like that.
Oh, right,
That'd be handy.
When he's not your captain, so that's quite an interesting one to work out, mate.
I mean, I'm relying heavily on him. I couldn't have had a much worse week if I tried. I had Martinez. I also had Conser, and that game I had recorded. I'd recorded. Let's not go there again.
Okay.
I'd recorded the radio so I could listen to it in bed. And
wow, that is commitment.
Well, no, because I quite like. I couldn't watch the game, because I don't have BT Sport, and I quite wanted to listen to the game. So I was listening in bed, and I was falling asleep with about a quarter of an hour to go, and then I thought I heard a burglar, so I had to go and check, and that obviously wakes you up. And it wasn't a burglar; it was a radiator. But anyway, so I woke up and I managed to stay awake right to the end, and I was thinking this is a cracking start to the week because I had Watkins, Martinez, Conser, and it was about. I think it's about a 15-point swing. It all went pear-shaped. So that wasn't good. So Cresswell, bought him in. Got rid of Cancelo because he's been useless. Turns out that was a bad decision. Digne, who I bought in 6 weeks ago, has got me 1 point again. Rudiger got me 6. Thank you. That really is a highlight. Gundogan. Got none. Salah, as we know, he's got 39 points tonight. Thank goodness. Mason Mount was my captain, thanks to Aratravio Ordi. I mean, on Twitter, my pronunciation is terrible. Lovely guy. Son 1 point, Watkins 5, Kane 2. On my bench, I did have Dallas and Ederson, who both got 6 points. But Dallas is my third sub, and Pereira from West Brom is my first sub, so he'll come on for Gundogan. So. Up and down, the up being Salah's big haul tonight, and the down being everything else.
I mean, I don't mean to rub it in, mate, but didn't you play Edison the last 3 weeks when he conceded?
4 weeks, yeah.
Oh, last 4 weeks when he conceded.
Last 4 games, I brought Edison in, and he's conceded every game. Martinez, I fancied him this week. I got a bit fed up with Edison, to be honest. And that worked out perfect. Every decision I made this week cost me points, so... One of those things, really, even to the point where my captain got picked originally, and Aratravio, it's not how you pronounce your name, I'm so sorry. He said Watkins, and I was thinking, okay. And then he responded and said, actually, or Mount, Watkins or Mount. And I said, well, you choose. So he's changed it to Mount. So that's a 4-point swing again. It was just one of those weeks. It's definitely my worst week of the season by about 20 points already, apart from this potential Salah haul everyone's talking about him getting. So we shall see. But this week we are planning for the last 10 game weeks in the season. We're going to be looking at fixtures and what teams you might want to be targeting to get in your team. We've also got four game week coming up where injuries have hit that massively. Anthony, I believe you said you've got an incredibly low number of players playing in this game week, 29.
Yeah, 4, I think, which is pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, so might be making some transfers, but I don't think I'm alone in that. I think we've got very similar players, haven't we? So we're going to be struggling to make a 5-a-side team here, aren't we, boys, for this week?
Yeah, I've got. I'm really chuffed. I thought it was a shrewd move bringing Heung-min Son in ahead of their games next week. Oh no, he's injured, isn't he? So
up your season, mate.
Yeah, it does really. I've got 6 players though.
Okay.
I brought in Bale and Son. Yeah, so we'll see. And I arrested Lingard there to get me some points. I think. I'll tell you what I did do.
He's been arrested.
No, he was arrested.
Oh,
we can call that story off.
Okay.
Yeah, he was arrested. I did a little bit of a shrewd move, I thought, at the weekend. Not since I put Adrian at £4 million in goal last season have I made such a good goalkeeping move. What's this? Fraser Force is available at 4 million and he's starting for Southampton. Oh, I'll have some of that action. Brighton 2 goals. Anyway, never mind. If you want a cheap keeper to free up some money, maybe if you need to bring Hun Min Song in, he's perfect for it. Absolute nightmare. I cannot wait for a new season. But anyway, we've got 10 games left. Before we do that, are we going to talk about our punts?
Yes, sure,
let's.
yeah.
So I think I had Kelechi Iheanacho, didn't I? I can't.
You can think that, but you didn't.
No. Yeah, I can't remember who I had. Oh, I had Tillemans. No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
No, you didn't. He's
He's not under 2%.
No.
Honestly, lads, I can't tell you. Whoever it was did not do very well. I can almost guarantee it. So I'll bow out from the punts. We should explain for first-time listeners. Every week we pick a player of under 2% ownership, and yeah, whoever gets the highest return on their player under 2% ownership escapes, and the other two tend to play off as to who's going to have their captain picked by one of our listeners. How did you boys get on, Phil?
So I've got Ruben Neves, who's playing now. He's very much going to be, I imagine, getting a penalty shortly, but he hasn't got one as yet, and we are 17 minutes into the game. So we'll wait and see. If Ruben Neves does anything, then that might help me. And how'd you get on?
Well, I had Pereira, boys. Leicester, clean sheet. Lovely old job.
Yes.
Hold up.
Clean sheet and a hamstring injury, and went off at half time. 1 point.
I was going to say, he was one of the players that I had at the weekend who got injured. One of the many players that got injured. So, yeah, Pereira, no. 1 point, matey.
Oh, that is an absolute sickener, boys. Oh,
It's tough at the top. It's tough at the top, Anthony. So,
what about you, though, Phil?
Well, I mean, thanks for asking. I have just told you, though, if you rewind a minute.
Oh, really?
Ruben Neves, something's going on with your mic, but I can hear you and Ant perfect, and so can Ant. So don't worry about it.
All right.
Don't worry about it. You can just hear yourself twice, which I imagine is like a dream come true for you.
Oh, absolutely is. I love my voice.
Just any... we're doing the punts. We'll do the punts. Let's get that over and done with then. So at the moment, no one knows if I've won or not. So we better play every second mounts.
Let's do it,
Let's
boys.
play it.
Okay, who wants to start this week? One of you boys start.
I'm happy to start if you like, lads. So okay, so there are 17 answers available to you. I want teams that have dropped out of the Premier League at one stage or another and now find themselves in the Championship. There are only seven of the 20 teams that haven't appeared ever in the Premier League. But I want you to find me the 17, or as many of the 17 as you can, from the Championship.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm gonna go first here, boys. I'm gonna start with my favourite number 6.
Oh, 8.
There's 17, isn't there?
Bit of bravado from.
Happily 8. I'll go.
Feels like a bluff. Off you go, Phil.
I mean,
8. You don't think you could name 8 Premier League teams? And now
he's done it. He's done it, mate. He's done it.
I'd have to name 9. So, yeah.
Okay, so I will rattle through these.
Yeah.
Blackburn.
No wonder we're Googling
Norwich.
in front of you.
No. Blackburn, Norwich, Derby, Bournemouth, Cardiff, Swansea, Middlesbrough, Sheffield Wednesday.
You're there. Well done. Good grief, Ant.
Those up.
That was
I haven't looked those up.
Spineless.
I mean, I'm looking. All I was doing is thinking about teams we've been terrible against this season.
Well, that's all of them.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that was very easy, and you could have had.
Dear.
Oh dear.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you the
I'll
teams
take
that I'll tell you the teams that are in the Championship that have never played in the Premier League.
Bristol City.
That's probably easier. I'll if you wouldn't mind.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's my round. You can give the answers in yours. They are Brentford, Millwall, Bristol City, Preston North End, Luton Town, Rotherham United, and Wycombe Wanderers. Everybody else in that league has played in the Premier League. So there we go.
There we go, boys.
All right, so Phil's 1-0 up, and never an easier tapping will you get. If Paddy Bamford would have put that one away. Good grief.
Oh, poor Patrick Bamford and his beautiful beard. I was so sad
Is it
when he went
beautiful though?
off. Oh, maybe
It's a bit bum
it just-
fluffy.
it strikes me it's the first time he's tried, and you really need to encourage that sort of behaviour. And if you've tried to look nice and then people mock you, that's not good. So I really hope that his beard stays and he's fit. I hope it's just a knock and he's fit for two reasons. One, because lovely guy, and two, he's in my team of depleting players for game week 29. So I'll do my question now.
Go for it.
Sure.
Okay. So I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 players you can pick from. So I'm looking for all the players on FPL with an ownership of over 20%. It's 14 players with ownership of over 20%. How many of those can you name? Mike, I'll let you go first because, honestly, Ant, you embarrassed yourself in that first round.
Thanks, mate.
I'll go 7.
7 of the 14. Okay.
Halfway. Yeah.
Halfway. Ant, have you got are you going to go guts for glory?
No.
That's not a saying.
Okay. All right. 7.
7
again.
Mike.
It feels like a bit of a free hit, but okay.
If only we had a free hit left for game week 29.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, let's not talk about chips. So, I'll give you Bruno Fernandes.
Oh, yeah, working down from the top of your screen, are you? Yep, that's top.
It's just how I roll.
Ant, can you count, please?
Sure.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
38.5%. Yes.
Still, that's madness.
Harry Kane.
40.9%.
And as of this evening, after the pod, and I've transferred him out again, he's no Son. He's no Son. He's no son of mine, to quote Genesis. Heung-min Son.
54.3% of teams have got Heung-min Son.
Goodness me.
I think we might have just found our song that we're going to lead out with. Here
we go.
I'll go for
2 to go. Wow.
Mohamed Salah.
Yes, 32%. I feel like that's number 5.
I think that's 5.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't even count. 2 to go.
Now.
Can't even count to 5. It's been a good day, boys.
Now, there'll be a lot of old teams with Trent and Robbo in it. I'm wondering about them. I'll go for Robertson.
Incorrect.
No.
Get out my head.
No. Robertson has 13.9%. Anthony, we should play this Family Fortune style where you get the chance to steal, Ant. But can you think of anyone, Ant, who you would expect to be in there?
Luke Shaw.
You'd have lost. Emi
Martinez.
Emi Martinez. Obviously, Patrick Bamford, 49.7%. Even when he's injured, people just want a bit of him.
Mason Mount.
Mason Mount, absolutely nowhere near it. No.
I was going to say no.
You've got Gundogan, 37.6%. Cresswell, 27%. Watkins, 27%. Diaz, 24%. Stones, 23%. Stuart Dallas, 23%. Cancelo rounded it off as well. So, yeah, there you go.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah, so you've both lost one. So, not quite sure what happens now.
It's between me and Ant, isn't it?
Yes. No, it's between me and I've got to play against you, Mike.
Yeah.
So basically, you've lost one now.
Yeah.
Oh, the mathematics of this are spinning my head.
It's confusing.
It's utter shambles tonight. You're right. We've got to play the third round, and it could well be a 3-way tie, in which case we'll flip a coin.
Okay, seems fair.
That's good. So, boys, similar theme to Mike's in the first question in terms of Phil's answer of the championship teams that we've been pathetic against this season. So, as we know, Barnsley rolled into the Vitality and won at the weekend. And as we know, the last time they were in the Premier League was in 97-98. But I want to know, boys, how many of the 20 Premier League teams from that season can you name?
Oh, I like this. Bit of history.
If you want, we can kind of just say that Mike lost because I'm in theory better than you, Ant, and then he's worse than you because he lost to you.
No, thank you. We'll play the game.
Play the game. Phil, you go first. How many of the 20?
97-98. It was a great year for chat manager. Graham Tomlinson,
really
free transfer. Kim Kallstrom.
What's funny?
To be honest, I'm thinking about Chapman.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's quite funny is you're saying Graham Tomlinson 97-98, which to most Championship managers players in 1997, 1998, they were playing with like Man United. They weren't playing with Bournemouth. So yeah, you're right. Me too. And Herman Hreidarson, he's coming on board. But
yeah,
but you're thinking about that's a very niche reference, Graham Tomlinson on Chapman, because most people were, I don't know, buying Sol Campbell or somebody, not Graham Tomlinson. But lovely throwback. Right. Anyway, how many teams?
So how many of the 20?
Let's go 7.
8.
Oh, he's gone big.
Okay, I'm just typing, really. so I'm seeing who might have been there. You've got 8. Yeah, they would have been there.
You know what? I'll go 9.
Really? You're going 9? Chances of me going 10 on the 97-98 season are quite minimal, I'd imagine. Yeah, I'm at 7, and it's almost like I can't possibly think of any more teams. I'm at 8. Oh, this is tricky. So you've gone 9.
I've gone 9.
You've got to go double figures, my friend.
The thing is, I'm annoyed because I honestly think I could probably do 10, but I just can't think of any football teams. It's pressure, isn't it? No, Mike, you enjoy yourself. I mean, I've got 8, but no, I can't. You enjoy yourself. If you've got a flip chart,
I've got a big bit of paper.
Oh, okay.
It's ginormous.
That is A3. Right, Phil, can you count?
I've come prepared this week. I've come prepared because we're going to do a league. I'm going to do a little league table. Be a lot of fun. So I've got a big bit of paper and a marker pen.
All right, stop calling. Start answering.
Okay, let's start with 97-98. Arsenal
won the league. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just thought of 2 teams.
Closely followed by Man United.
Correct.
Your other 2 top 4 teams, of course, would have been Arsenal and Chelsea. Sorry, it would have been Liverpool and Chelsea.
Correct.
Duplication.
Closely followed by Tottenham, maybe Everton.
Tottenham are in there, yeah. 14th in the league that season, though. And you said Everton?
Yeah.
Who stayed up by the skin of their teeth. Goal difference.
Oh, good times. So that's 6 with 4 to find. Southampton.
Yeah,
Marion Pahars.
Yeah.
Egalosh and Stats. Middlesbrough, Juninho.
Middlesbrough, 97 and 98.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dear, Mike.
Oh, no.
There was no Middlesbrough in
what?
1997, 1998. I'll read you the full league table from that season. Unfortunately, Mike, it's a defeat for you.
I had Spurs, Blackburn, and Leicester off that list.
I don't want to, recall from what you said earlier on, but I did mention Spurs. Thanks for listening. If you just want to rewind it back,
I'll just read you the league table, boys. So Arsenal won the league that year, ahead of United, Liverpool, Chelsea. Leeds were 5th, ahead of Blackburn, Villa, West Ham, Derby County came 9th, unbelievably. Leicester were 10th, Cov 11th, Southampton 12th. Newcastle 13th, Tottenham 14th, AFC Wimbledon, the original, 15th, Sheffield Wednesday, Everton, and the bottom 3 that year, Bolton, Barnsley, and Palace.
Wow. Barnsley. Mike, he gave you Barnsley.
He did give me Barnsley. Yeah, in those days, Palace and Wimbledon were ground sharing. So,
yes,
2 teams in the same stadium, they're in the Premier League.
So, Mike, that means your captain will be picked.
Well, I look forward to it. I mean, at this rate, the injuries the way they are, they might not have any choice. They'll just be picking the one player I've got left. But yeah, let's wait and see.
Oh, good times, good times.
Well,
all right,
gents,
let's talk then, Phil. Let's talk the last 10 games or so of the season. We're going to drop a little league table, aren't we? Well,
yeah, I think a lot of some people may well have their wild card left for after game week 29. Don't take much advice from me because I'm currently on either 28 or 67 points this week. But don't use your wild card for game week 29 because then you'll end up with loads of Brighton players in your team. And just quickly on that, we have had a question, Mike, specifically for you from Stadium of Sports, who asks,
good evening.
Which of the Tesco value kit team would you recommend bringing in? Which three Brighton players would you want this week?
3?
Yes.
Or I would struggle to name 3. They're that mediocre. All right. They're at home to Newcastle. That much I know. Lewis Dunk popped up with a goal at the weekend, so I wouldn't be afraid to put him in. I would look at Basuma, who heads up. He's my punt this week. And Trossard, just because he reminds me of the swear word 11 that we had at the start of the season.
Fair enough. Okay, cool. Well, let's look at this then. So we're not going to try and be too boring, but we're going to go through each team, the teams they're playing, and then give them a rank out of 10, a score out of 10, and then eventually we'll have a sort of top 5 teams that maybe you should consider targeting if you're wild carding. I think there's an afternoon break. It's not work.
Oh, I love an afternoon break.
There's an international break. Should I tell you what I did yesterday? A little segue in my afternoon break on a Sunday. I heated up half a litre of custard and just ate it out the jug.
You know how to live, mate.
There's something very Partridge about that.
There really is.
But yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's have a look then. That is very Partridgey. So Arsenal have they've got West Ham game week 29, so they've got a game. So they've got West Ham, Liverpool, Sheffield United, Fulham, Everton, Newcastle, West Brom, Chelsea, Palace, and Brighton to end. So they've only really got Liverpool and Chelsea of the sort of top teams to play. What are you thinking on Arsenal?
Well, they had a good win. Sorry, Mike, go on.
I think that yesterday we were about to say probably the same thing, really. It was a good win yesterday, which may well go some to galvanising the team and inspiring them to kick on. They do feel a bit streaky, Arsenal, as a team. They have good runs and then bad runs, and Arteta's the best thing since sliced bread. And the next minute, he should be going. So I think we have to, when we're assessing the end of the season for these teams, we have to consider not just the fixtures that they've got in hand, but actually how they are set as a club. And I see that Aubameyang was benched yesterday for turning up late. They're not a team that I can truly get behind, so I would stick him at a 5 or a 6 out of 10 myself.
Okay. Yeah, I would go. The fixtures are good, I think. So I would probably go for a 7, actually. You get a sort of decider.
Yeah, I'd go 7 as well. Purely, I agree with both of you. The fixtures on paper are pretty winnable, aren't they? Bar those couple, and even Liverpool are not the same Liverpool last season, are they? They're actually only just sat 3 points above them in the league at the moment. So they're apart from the Chelsea game, they look very winnable games for Arsenal. Asset wise, though, you're not looking at too many, are you? But I'd go for a 7 on that one.
Yeah, okay, we'll put him down for a 7. Smith Rowe again was really bright yesterday.
Yeah, he's looked really good since I've taken him back out my team. He's looked tremendous.
It's almost like he knows.
Yeah, exactly. So Villa, they've got Newcastle. Oh no, they played Newcastle the other day. They got Spurs, Fulham, Liverpool, Man City, West Brom, Everton, Man United, Crystal Palace, Tottenham, Chelsea.
Oh, that's a horrible run. But they've got a game more than everybody else, right?
Well, they've got a game more in that they're playing this game week. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like that run. Don't like that at all. And yeah, they're not exactly firing, are they? Grealish, we still don't know when he's going to be back. He chose not to play Barkley at the weekend, which was interesting.
Again,
Opted to bench him. So for me, I would only put that at a 4, maybe a 5. But maybe I'm being a bit bleak. What do you think?
Well, no. If you look, they got Tottenham, Liverpool, City, Everton, Man United, Tottenham again, Chelsea.
Well, in fact, I'm sticking with my 4 then.
And they've got the only easy fixtures they've got are Crystal Palace, West Brom, Fulham in the last 10.
It's a tough old run, isn't it? I mean, they are a little bit win or bust Villa this season, aren't they? Only 5 draws, so it's all or nothing with them a little bit. I'd probably go with a 5. I mean, the only thing, like you say, you can say for them is they're sat here with 2 games more than some of the teams around them at the moment. So in terms of assets, like you say, there's potentially going to be weeks where they're going to play and others aren't, like this coming week. But that's a nasty run, and they're not the same Villa that came out the blocks firing, are they, at the start of the season? So I'd go right down the middle with a 5.
I think if you're looking at playing catch up like me at the moment, you might want to, and your wildcard, you might want to just ditch Villa because everyone seems to have 2 or 3 of their assets, and you need to be slightly different. And they're not pulling up trees. I'd keep Martinez just because he's been excellent, and I owe it out of loyalty to him. But apart from that, I can't think of anyone else I want. Okay, let's move. So with 5, I think is fine there.
Yep.
I'm ranking them. Don't worry, lads. Writing it all down with my big marker pen here.
Good. It's good that you've got a flip chart in your house. I have no idea what that is for. So next team is Mike's favourite, Tesco, Brighton and Hove Albion. They have got Newcastle, Man U, Everton, Chelsea, Sheffield United, Leeds, Wolves, West Ham, Man City and Arsenal to finish.
Cool.
There's not many winnable games in there, is there?
No. To highlight the what would be called an easier fixture, they've got Newcastle this week, Sheffield United in game week 33, I think, and Leeds and Wolves and West Ham. But West Ham are on fire, so
tough games there, boys. I mean, it's a bit of a 5 for them, really. When you look at those fixtures, you never quite know what you're going to get with Brighton because they've actually played some good football at times this season, but they have not been able to stick the ball in the back of the net. And then Sunday, just as Mike brings in Southampton's goalkeeper, they managed to actually score 2 goals. So, when they can actually string it together. But I mean, that Newcastle game at the weekend, boys, or on Friday night, whatever it is, that's huge, isn't it? Just looking at the league table now, separated by a single point. So you'd think whoever wins that game, that is a massive knees up for them staying up. But there's some nasty games in there for Brighton.
What you can be sure of is, given their position, that they won't be coasting at the end of the season. They will be going for it. So in that respect, having assets that are going to be fighting hard and going at it right to the very last, I would mark them ever so slightly higher than maybe ordinarily. I'd put them at a 5 alongside Villa myself.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Okay,
Burnley. No game this week. Then they have got Southampton, Newcastle, Man United, Wolves, West Ham, Fulham, Leeds, Liverpool, Sheffield United. That's a nice run. They've only got Liverpool and Man United, who I would think, they couldn't. They're less likely to get some sort of a shutout on. So maybe thinking about a Burnley defender wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, I mean, Burnley have this habit, don't they, of doing this. They pull a result out of seemingly nowhere. I mean, did anyone see that result of the weekend coming away at Goodison? Didn't see that at all. And Dyche has this in his locker with his Burnley team, that he seems to pull a result out when you think they are nailed on to lose. But yeah, I mean, there's some winnable games in there for Burnley. They're safe, aren't they? They're on 33 points. You'd think with Brighton, Newcastle, and Fulham, one of the likeliest of those 3 to go. So those, what are we looking at, 6 or 7 here, boys, for those fixtures?
I might even say 8. I mean,
they've steady.
But it is still Burnley.
I was going to say, you've got to keep in mind this is Burnley we're talking about.
Okay, all right. You've talked me down off the ledge. 7.
I mean, just a quick word. I mean, I can't stand the gravel voice dinosaur, but you have to pay a little bit of respect. You look at, Chris Wilder this week. I know there's some politics involved there behind the scenes, but he's lost his job this week or walked away. I'm not quite sure what, but
when Jason Tyndall's available, you have to get him in.
Exactly.
They've moved quick. They've moved quick to take advantage. Yeah, I just think credit where it's due. It's horrible football. It really is. But he's got championship players there that year in, year out are surviving in the Premier League by hook or by crook. And yeah, so I mean, it's horrible to watch. But yeah, fair play to him. Fair play. You just wonder at which point. You wonder at which point Burnley fans go, well, maybe they do a Stoke and they say, well, yeah, we're tired of this style of football. Actually, we'd rather, even if it means us losing a few games, we'd like to see us try and attack a bit more and play a bit more open. And we all know what happened to Stoke. So I don't know. The bond is pretty strong between manager and fans there, and maybe there's a realism that exists there that didn't at Stoke. They're not spending the sort of money that Stoke were either.
It was nice to see that some of the advice from our first ever podcast before the season finally came to fruition when we had suggested McNeil is going to be an essential asset, and he's finally paid dividends. That was an incredibly good postage stamp goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Did you see the goal, Ant?
No, I'll be honest, boys. I didn't really watch much of the football over the weekend, but I did hear it was a bit of a beauty. There was some comments about it online. So yeah, Botto-esque, was it?
Yeah, it was good. It was pretty good. Talking of pretty good, let's look at Chelsea's fixtures. We got West Brom, Palace, Brighton, West Ham, Fulham. That's their next 5. They're not playing. They're not playing game week 29, but I'm all aboard Chelsea after that. So West Brom, Crystal Palace, Brighton, West Ham, Fulham, Man City, Arsenal, Leicester, and they finish with Villa.
Well, so it's a close season of 2 halves, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would you pick though? Because he is rotating. My favourite Reece James is in and out like nobody's business. Azpilicueta, we talk about him every week. He looks sort of nailed on to play every week. Interesting that he's playing Havertz as this kind of false number 9 now without a striker. So I wonder if he might be worth a look. He missed the sitter, unfortunately, at the weekend, but did play well. Has played well the last couple of games for them. So yeah, it might be worth a look. Havertz.
What about Pulisic? I mean, he's just come in. He's just come back into the team now. He looked like before his injury. I mean, last season he was having worldie after worldie, and I thought he'd be like a real asset this season. Obviously, then had injuries and has struggled to get back to his form. But he started, didn't he, at the weekend? Could he be someone? I mean, he would be a big differential.
Well, both those players would be. They both sit at 8.2 million. Pulisic has a lower ownership than Havertz. And in terms of form, Havertz sits above Pulisic, but not by a lot. And in terms of points, Havertz sits above Pulisic but not by a lot. It doesn't. Yeah, you could split the two pretty easily. So I would look at one of those two definitely as options. I think they're both going to get a run in the team.
Chelsea still in the Champions League.
They are, mate. They are currently sat 4th in the table.
In the Champions League.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking Champions League.
I believe,
yes.
Atletico Madrid, I believe they were playing in the Champions League. I believe there's a second leg coming.
Yes, tomorrow. It's tomorrow. So if they go deep into the Champions League, then I can see, that maybe being, a problem because of rotation. Just a heads up, Diogo Jota has just scored for Liverpool 1-0. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Salah assist for you there, Phil?
I have no idea. It hasn't come up on the BBC website yet. But that is the news, which actually, if I could just segue very quickly to a question, which was about Jota from Craig Krauf. Should I ditch Firmino since I have Jota now, or do you think Firmino will be back in the lineup regularly? I would say even if he is in the lineup, I still wouldn't have him.
Agreed.
No, I had him better on the season. It was an absolutely terrible mistake. Get him out.
Jota's much better value.
Yeah. And he can actually score.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So Chelsea, what are we doing with the score there, lads? Because obviously 5 really winnable games there to begin with, and you wonder if actually they've got up a bit of get up ahead of steam. Is that a phrase? I think it might be.
It's more of a phrase than what I said earlier.
You're quite right. It is going into those last 4 games. Actually, they may have momentum, confidence, and might pick up points where we don't expect them to. So I'm going to go high on that. I like that at 7.5. I like that more than I like Burnley's because of the team. Because of we're talking Chelsea, they're more likely to dominate their games.
I'm going to slightly higher still. I'm going to go 8.
Oh.
I think Anthony, you maybe have had a shandy or two too many. I mean, that's just nuts. I'm more than happy to say 7.5.
Let's go 7.5, boys.
Yeah. Okay. Assist was Mane, which is exciting.
I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to be quite good, didn't he? Once upon a time.
He really did. Yeah. So it's half time now. So Salah's got to earn 39 points in one half. So come on, Mo. Come on, Mo. Okay, so let's move on from Chelsea then. I think pretty strong fixtures. So I've got Rudiger and Mount at the moment, and maybe I'll gamble on a Pulisic and hope I catch his form early. Crystal Palace have got nothing this week. Then they've got Everton, Chelsea, Southampton, Leicester, Man City, Sheffield United, Aston Villa, Arsenal, Liverpool.
Ouch.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not great either, is it?
That's a horrible run. And I know they scraped a win against West Brom at the weekend, but they're not playing nice football. Roy will be gone in the summer. They love a bit of a coast at the end of the season with Palace. I can't imagine we're going to find any fixtures worse than that. I'd be surprised, but I would mark that down at like a 2.
Yeah, I would have to say I probably agree. And they'll be playing Sheffield United in game week 35, and by that point you get that thing with relegated teams, don't you, where they've got nothing to worry about now. So they often become
they're gonna have the Tyndall bounce as well, aren't they? So
exactly that. Yeah. So I'd mark that down as a hard 2.5. Avoid their players, and maybe if you're thinking of if you play the game where you target a team, they would be one to target. Okay, so Everton next then. They have got game week 30 Crystal Palace. Then they got Brighton, Spurs, Arsenal, Villa, West Ham, Sheffield United, Wolves, Man City.
Yeah, it's not horrendous.
No.
I see them winning maybe 2/3 of those games on paper.
Yeah. Tottenham, Arsenal.
I saw them winning against Burnley at the weekend. So
exactly. It's difficult with Everton. They have been a little bit up and down. I mean, they are sat there. If Liverpool win tonight, they'll go down to 7th, but with a game in hand. So they're still right in the mix for the European places. But they seem to be really poor at home for some reason. Everton. Another shocking performance. They lost at home to Fulham as well a few weeks ago. So you never know what you're going to get. DCL never really recovered, has he? He's never come back the same player from his injury.
Goal at the weekend.
Yeah, but I'm still not convinced he's the same player that he was. Yeah, this feels a bit like. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, if you want to look at a couple of players maybe to bring in, I would consider Olsen. In fact, you're going to have to look deeper than Olsen or Lawson, because you're going to have to look at Virginia.
Yeah, he came on, didn't he?
4.3 million. So I don't know how long Pickford's out for, but he's yellow on the game at the moment.
He's almost golden, Virginia.
Oh,
very good,
mate. That's the sort of stuff I live for.
If it wasn't tobacco, which is a bit manky, then I'd be happy with that pun. But as it is, I'll take it.
One of the most informed players in the game at the moment is Richarlison. So he's well worth a look. Selected by 10% of players at the moment. Will cost you £8 million, and seems to be involved in all the good things that Everton are doing. And if you actually look at the lack of forwards that are firing at the moment, he strikes me as a good pick, Richarlison.
I'll let it slide. Yeah. Okay. So what score are we giving Everton then? I would say 6.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, 6.
Okay, thanks. So let's move on. Fulham, they've got Leeds this week. Villa, Wolves, Arsenal. Then in game week 33, they don't have a game. Then they play Chelsea, Burnley, Southampton, Man U, and Newcastle.
Oh, what a last game of the season that is!
That could be
Yeah.
huge, couldn't it? Oh, wouldn't that be great if one of those two teams has to win to stay in the Premier League?
Are they home or away that last game of the season with Newcastle?
I think they are home.
Right.
Oh, he's got the bottle for it, boys.
I would
It's
love
not a
it.
great run.
It's not great, but
It's
surely
not the worst, though, is it?
the Premier League should award Scott Parker bonus points for that sort of jacket he's wearing. A padded suit jacket is wonderful.
Again, I don't want to make this all about Jason Tyndall, but he is coming Sheffield United fans, and he brings with him a very lovely coat.
I mean, if you look at Fulham have actually lost less games this season than Leeds.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they could have just turned a couple of these draws, 11 draws that they've had, I don't know, boys. I think this is probably a 5 or a 6 for me, but I mean, there is a couple of 6-pointers in there, isn't there, for Fulham?
They've got they've got a blank game week, which is not this. Bearing in mind, this is a fantasy football perspective we're trying to look at. That's a problem for me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but there is still some winnable games in there for them. But yeah, that is a bit of a trouble having a game missing. But
I would mark
I've
it
still
as a
got
4.
Yeah, I've still got a sneaky feeling they're going to stay up, boys.
I'd like it if they did. I like Scott Parker.
So, what are we giving him? 4?
4?
Yeah, okay, 4.
I'll go 4.
Okay, let's move on to the surprise package of the season. The team which we previously loved to hate, and you may still do, but Leeds. They have got Fulham coming up. Then they got Sheffield United, City, Liverpool, Man United, Brighton, Spurs, Burnley, Southampton, and they finish West Brom at home.
I think there's some nice games in there. You know, there's that horrible trio there of, I think you said Man City, Man United, and Arsenal, something like that.
Man City, Liverpool, Man United.
Yeah, that's a great trio. But the 2 games prior to that are very much winnable, and then 4 of the last 5 look good on paper as well. I'm getting a bit tired of them being called the great entertainers. They failed to score in their last 3. But I'd maybe look at some defensive assets there because they are keeping some clean sheets.
Yeah, Dallas about 20.
Been a good one.
Like we say,
Yeah.
But don't you want to look at somebody different than Dallas? Because Dallas' ownership's pretty high, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you might want to think of Ayling. He's got beautiful hair, and he has to retie it so many times every game. And for that I respect him.
If there was ever a reason to get a player in,
he is the informed player. Dallas 4 Leeds. The other 2 in the mix. In fact, the other 3 in the mix. Let's just have a quick look at them because they all are very cheap. You've got Rafinha at 5.5 million in midfield. I've actually brought him into my team this week. Melier at 4.6, and you've got Struich as well, 4 million, and he's in the top 5 for form in the Leeds team.
Boys, I'm just gonna really quickly. So I want you to talk about. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to talk about how much you love Leeds, and this isn't very professional, but I am absolutely bursting for the loo. So,
oh god, I mean, you've given us. You could have given us worse subjects to talk about than how much we love Leeds.
So I want you to think of 10 things you like about Leeds, starting from now.
I'll start with that little boy that was crying in the terraces. That's one of my favourite things about Leeds of all time. I don't know if you remember him. Somebody had used a black marker not dissimilar to the one that I'm holding here, and scrawled "Leeds till I die" on his chest. I think whoever was caring for him at the time was only about 8 years old.
He was,
he was on the terraces. Took him weeks, as I understand it, to get that off.
Bless him.
Yeah,
I think he's one who's on the news because he's about 24 now because it did take Leeds that long to get back in there. Bless him. I like the fan you saw last season who celebrated so much when Leeds got promoted that he's smashed a lamp in his lounge or something. That was vaguely entertaining. I mean, we really are scraping the barrel here.
I like my only ever visit to Ellen Road was coupled with a trip to the Emmerdale Studios.
What a day that was!
It was quite a day. I poured a pint in the wall pack. Got on the actual set. Yeah, I love a bit of me. Met Lucy Pargeter and many other of the stars. It's very exciting.
What more could you want, mate? What more could you
so
want?
I like that about Leeds. It's near Emmerdale.
I like the Bielsa sits on a bucket with his coffee.
Oh
Bit
yeah,
different.
do you know what? And I like Bielsa. I
Yeah.
don't think he's well, maybe he is the genius that everyone he says he is, but I like Bielsa. Yeah, we came up with
what number?
About
4.
10.
-6.
Sorry about that, gents. Sorry
That's right.
about
You
that.
can listen back to that. You can listen back to that. You know, when you're doing your edit later.
Was it good? Well, I
it's
won't
great
need
content.
to. I'm sure it's great content. I won't edit it out. I'll just trust you.
Terrific
There was a delay. I cut my finger earlier on a belt slicer, and it caused an issue with my button fly. Otherwise, it would have been a lot faster.
You know,
Okay. Thanks for information. Have we got a score for Leeds anyway, boys? Here.
Yeah, I like the look of those fixtures. I say 7.
You can't remember those fixtures, can you?
Yeah, I remember that there were 2 that were really winnable. I think it was Crystal Palace and West Brom.
Cool. 2 out of 10 sounds like a good reason to give a team 7.
And hold on, then they've got the Man United, Man City, Liverpool, and then they've got 4 of the next 5 that are winnable. I've done some ticks and crosses on my sheet here, so I'm gonna say 6.5 because I can't score Leeds too highly.
I'm happy with 6.5.
Not to mention the fact they've got children who they like to draw on with marker pen, and they're near the Emmerdale Studios. Next, Phil.
I have no idea what that means. Okay, Leicester. So they've got Man City. Nothing this week. Man City, West Ham, West Brom, Crystal Palace, Southampton, Newcastle, Man United, Chelsea, and Tottenham.
Well, that's streaky again because you've got 4 games in there that are lovely and bunched together. So I give it a couple of game weeks, gang, and then jump on Leicester for 4 matches.
Yeah, game week 31. They've got West Ham, West Brom, Palace, Southampton, Newcastle, and then off you get.
Yeah, I mean, as we know, as we talked about last week, boys, Iheanacho, he'd be a great differential. And actually, fair play to Stefan de Jong, who's still top of our league, who had him in this week, and he got him 17 points. One of only 1.8% of players 1.6% of players who have him in their team, which was a ridiculously good shout.
And fair play, Stefan de Jong was the person who last week asked the question, should I get Iheanacho in? He listened to both of you say no, and he takes 5. He needs 5 chances to score 1 goal, and he thought, I'll get him in then.
That's amazing that Leicester managed to create 15 chances for him as well.
Yeah, I know, right? But
game,
again, they were playing Sheffield United, who Phil could score a hat-trick against at the moment, to be honest with you.
Oh, gosh.
I knew it was bad because Mousset came on in the second half.
Look, for
desperate measures.
For that little run alone, lads, of 5 games, I'm gonna give that another 6.5.
Who'd you get in though? Vardy's the obvious, but like you say, he scored 1 goal in 14.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would. I like Tielemans, and actually Iheanacho I think is going to start every week. My concern with Iheanacho was it was between him and Perez as to who was going to start up top with Vardy, and they've been swapping in and out a little bit, but the shirt is his now, isn't it? And I don't know if you saw his interview afterwards.
No, I didn't know.
Oh, it was brilliant. So the reporter says it was Laura Woods said, I beg your pardon?
Don't worry. Childish. Carry on.
Bit rude. Bit rude, bit chauvinistic. Oh dear.
Cool. Carry on.
She said, it must be a really special day for you, your first ever Premier League hat-trick. And he said, I won't do the accent, but he said, I want to thank God. And he said, and I want to take a moment to thank the fans and also my mother and all mothers around the world for the great job they do. And it's just like, this is not your average kind of post-match football interview. It was like he'd won an Oscar, to be honest. But I really liked it. I really liked it, and I really like him. And I think he's worth a look. I think he's worth a look for sure. So I've come completely full circle off the back of a 1 game week. Yeah.
Strange for you to be so reflex.
Yeah.
In your reactions. Yeah.
Okay. So Leicester 6.5. I've gone there. Next.
Okay. Liverpool, nothing this week. Arsenal, Villa, Leeds, Newcastle United, Newcastle, Man United, Southampton, West Brom, Burnley, Crystal Palace. So that's a really good run of fixtures. They've only got Arsenal and Man United out of the sort of top half teams.
How many of those are at home though? Because we know that this is becoming a real issue for them now.
Okay, the games they've got at home are Villa, Newcastle, Southampton, and Palace. All of those games, those teams should get rolled over and tickled. I imagine Liverpool will want to seek revenge on Villa
for the 7-2. You'd kind of think so, wouldn't you? But those are exactly the type of teams that Liverpool have been losing to at Anfield. So
I know I really like those fixtures, and I think off the back of his 30+ point haul tonight, Salah's going to be really high on confidence.
That's true. Actually, it's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like those fixtures. If it was the Liverpool of old, I'd be going like 9 out of 10. But because it's not, I would maybe give it a 7.
Yeah, I'm happy with 7. I think that's fair.
Would you be tempted to go for the fullbacks again and maybe getting Trent?
Too expensive for me.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, cool. You wouldn't. Fair enough. Okay.
He felt expensive at the start of the season, but I could understand why people would get on board, but not with the year that he's had. No, definitely not.
Okay, so the champions elect, Leicester have got Man City. They've got Leicester, Leeds, Villa. No game in game week 33. Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Newcastle, Brighton, Everton.
It's not a bad run.
Yeah,
it's a mixed bag. But I just wouldn't bother. I don't know why let's not even talk about them. What a complete waste of space.
Oh,
no, but just do one with your Pep. Move on. Let's get a manager in that knows his starting 11, that builds partnerships. I don't care. I don't want to see winning football. I don't want to see some of the best stuff we've seen in years. I want to see an 11 we know we're going to start paired up alongside one another week in, week out, and we can get behind on FPL. So, for the meantime, I would say no Man City assets. Not interested.
Even De Bruyne?
Even De Bruyne?
Yeah. Pep is rotating far too much. Because
I would have said to you last week, even Sterling. I would have said off the back of his fantastic appearance the week previous, even Foden. Neither of them got a look in. Again.
Don't be surprised.
It makes no sense. It just makes no sense.
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, my wife's team, she's had a bit of bad luck recently. I mean, she captained Ings last week, got 1 point, went off injured after 13 minutes. This week, she captained. She not to follow the crowds, but she thought, good one, I'll captain Gareth Bale, who had, I don't know, I think he breathed briefly near the ball in that game, and that's all. And then he got subbed for 1 point again. Yeah, you kind of think, it's a bit harsh. Bad captaincy luck as she benched John Stones. So,
wow.
So look, look, it's not a bad run of fixtures, but I don't think I can give them any more than a 6.5 or a 7, just because you can't rely on their assets.
No.
And I think it feels worse because someone inevitably on Twitter will have gone, oh yeah, well, I've got John Stones, I've got Cancelo, I've got whoever, Zinchenko. I knew he was going to score. For me, I'd prefer to just not have that worry of are they going to play or not. Yada yada. De Bruyne is the only one who I would think that he really wants to prove something because he's not done much this season. So I might be tempted to get De Bruyne in on a wild card, but that's the only player I'd go for. Ederson, he's gone. He's really pushing my buttons right now. So I would say a 7, 6, 7.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Next up,
Man U, Brighton, Tottenham, Burnley, Leeds, Liverpool, Villa, Leicester, Fulham, Wolves.
Real hodgepodge there for United, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got no sort of consistent run of easy games at all. Really, they've got Burnley and Leeds in game weeks 32 and 33, but that's about it. Every other game is quite tricky for Man U.
Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah. I think I've seen them cementing that second spot, but not convincingly. If we look at form, sure. is top for them at the moment with Fernandez. But in third spot, at 5.5 million, obviously you're probably going to favour Shaw over Maguire, but Maguire sits there in third place in terms of form. So he might be worth a look. I know Ant every week bangs the drum for Wan-Bissaka.
Absolutely, mate. He's been really good for me.
Yeah. Weirdly, Rashford is fourth in the form table for United. I don't know if you saw the header that he attempted in the game last night, but it was pretty painful to watch. So I don't know. I'm not convinced by that. Maybe the 6.
Yeah, it's in and out. You can't. Yeah, I would say a 6.5, 6.5, purely because of their wing backs, who I think are the reason that I'm so far behind Ant this year. Not having Leicester attackers earlier in the season and not having any United players, pretty much apart from Fernandez all year, has been a killer. So
yeah,
I'll put them at 6.25.
Okay, great. So we move on to Newcastle, who really need to find some form. Will the fixtures help? They have got Brighton this week. Then they've got Spurs, Burnley, West Ham, Liverpool, Arsenal, Leicester City. Ow! Sheffield United and Fulham to finish.
Oh, it's just those last couple of games, isn't it?
Last two. Well, this first one here and then the last two. But again, in terms of assets, boys, realistically, are you going to have any Newcastle assets at the moment? Struggle to score goals like Callum Wilson. We've covered this many times. Joel Linton? No, thank you very much. No, thanks. Just that principle more than anything else.
The sales popped up at the weekend with a goal. He's only 4.2 million if you're looking to bring somebody different in. But yeah, no Saint-Maximin involved. Fraser not firing. My boy Willock hasn't, sadly, kicked on as I hoped he would. I mean, you look at the form for an average points, it's pretty pathetic. The highest scoring Newcastle player this season. If you take Wilson. Do you know what? I don't know that it is. It's got to be.
I saw a great stat the other day. I think it might have been during their game, and it said it, and it was Hendricks who was the Newcastle players playing in that game. Was the highest scorer, and he'd only had one shot on target in the last 3 months. Or something like that. It was a brilliant tweet. I'll have to dig it out. It was a fantastic stat, and it basically summed up how bad they've been. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking at FPL points, look at Callum Wilson, who's been out for so long, sat there with 116. You then got to drop down to 80 for Cardalo. Almiron injured, 73. Saint-Maximin 52. And
that's the worry.
Three
out of their top 4 performing players in terms of FPL are not involved.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
Saint-Maximin is their 4th highest FPL asset. Sorry, and he has been out for most of the season.
Yeah,
not just a small chunk. Most of the season. So is it a hard pass on Newcastle? Then I'm going to 4.
Oh no, I go lower than that. 3.
Okay. 3.
Okay. Now, Jason Tyndall's Sheffield United. Then, so nothing this weekend.
What a flick town.
Then they've got Leeds, Arsenal, Wolves, Brighton, Spurs, Palace, Everton, Newcastle, Burnley. I'm going to put it out there. That is a great set of fixtures.
Yeah, but the Sheffield United, mate, who are going to get one of the worst points tallies. They've split up with Chris Wilder now, who, went on a similar run to what Bournemouth did, coming through the leagues and getting them into the Premier League. Had an unbelievable year last year, and it's just all fallen apart, hasn't it? And in terms of FPL assets for them, my score will be a 2 or a 3 for them because, who would you realistically look at in terms of potential players for them?
Yeah, I've got a feeling that...
I got a feeling!
Thank you for Black Eyed Peas.
Sorry.
Thanks very much. I reckon Rambo, our mate Aaron Ramsdale, I've got a feeling he could keep some clean sheets towards the back end of the season. Jason Tyndall had the best ever start of any manager for AFC Bournemouth in the history of the club. The longest unbeaten run. And
I think we're going to... we're over-egging the pudding. We are over-egging the pudding here, lads.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. I mean,
I think you need to take into consideration he's not the manager either. He's only assistant manager. He's part of the management team.
We know that Eddie Howe was all just a big charade. He was the puppet, and Tinder was the puppet master.
I've got to be very careful what I say here. So let's give Sheffield United a 4 out of 10 and move on.
That's very generous. I would have said a 2 or a 3 for me.
I'm genuinely can't believe what you're saying.
Phil's excited by the fixtures, so
Phil Ramsdale was our highest point scorer with 79.
Okay, George Baldock will be their highest point scorer by the end of the season. And feel free to clip this. George Baldock, 4.9 million. Those fixtures are very, very friendly. He could make it as my third sub.
Wow.
Let's move on.
Praise indeed. Yeah.
Madness.
Okay. So next up, we've got Mike's favourite team. Nothing this week for Southampton, but then they've got Burnley, West Brom, Crystal Palace, and then I think Spurs, Leicester, Liverpool, Fulham, Leeds, West Ham.
It's not bad, is it? Particularly
there's no real big hitters on there, but Southampton have fallen apart, haven't they? I know they've had some bad injuries, but what is that? 8 defeats in the last 10 Premier League games. Again, to lose at home against Brighton at the weekend was a bit of a shocker for them. They're not going to go down, are they? But they're just kind of going through the motions. It feels like to me. Assets, someone a little bit left field. What about Minamino? Very low ownership. Other than that, I mean, the fixtures wise, you'd say, blimey, that's a 6 or higher. But in terms of assets and an FPL team to pick for, it'd be about a 4 for me. They've got a blank as well. Exactly.
You boys mentioned Ward-Prowse last week. We said he was on pens. He scored another one at the weekend. He's their most informed player. Weirdly, along with Shea Adams. Who only cost you 5.8 million if you're looking for cheap strikers. Adams and Ward-Prowse are the top 2 in terms of form, but that doesn't say a great deal. I might just rewind to the good old days and bring Vestergaard back in. I do love a bit of Vestergaard, and he's a threat from set pieces. And if you look at those next 3 games, he might be an option. He's only Vestergaard 4.7. Yeah, it might be worth a look. But I think Ward-Prowse at 5.9. I hate to say it, but that's a really good take given those next few games. Yeah. What are we saying then out of 10 for those fixtures?
Well, with the blank in mind, I'd say a 5.
Yeah, I'm happy to go 5.
Okay, next up then, Spurs, who, I mean, that goal, that would be doing a disservice to Lamela for not mentioning that goal. I mean, that was very tasty, wasn't it?
Nearly as tasty as when he managed to get sent off as well, which was quite incredible.
He was just wired. Once he scored that goal, I mean, he's quite a passionate player anyway, but you could tell even from the moment he celebrated, he ran off like a madman and he didn't know what to do. And he put all that energy into niggling the opponents. He should have been sent off about 4 times for multiple yellows. But it was a lovely finish. You boys ever scored a goal as good as that? I mean, what's the best goal you've ever scored? And you remember it?
Oh, I can remember it very much so. I lobbed somebody on a Monday Night Football from inside my own half. It just bounced up, and I saw the keeper off his line. Lobbed it over him. In terms of 11-a-side football, I don't think I've ever scored further out than maybe 3 yards.
I do seem to remember a Monday Night Football where I nearly scored against Sheffield from the halfway line when he came running. When you came taking it, I've so nearly loved you from the halfway line, which I'll still be talking about it now. But yeah, no, I mean, they just don't score goals, boys, are more defensive minded. But I mean, as we know, Phil, with your wonder of a left foot, you'd be scoring beautiful goals every week, won't you?
Pretty much, and much as I do appreciate it, please can people now stop tagging me on Facebook about the man who did a pirouette in the non-league? Because, I mean, for those who don't know me, which is most of you, that is my trademark move and has been for many, many years. And now some guy's done it for Dorking or something. I do remember my best ever goal. It was shortly after Gascoigne scored in Euro 96. I was on Lime Tree Close. The goal was just the gap between 2 cars. So
the theatre of
owners. Absolutely. The car owners must have appreciated that. We were playing World Cup. The ball got thrown out by the keeper, and it was bouncing. I chipped it over a boy. I think his name was Nadir. Bit of a troublemaker, if I remember rightly. But I think his name was Nadir. Chipped it over him. Then I chipped it over another person. Can't remember who they were. And then I volleyed it, and it went in. And I mean, it was probably from about 5 yards out, but it was just like Gascoigne's. It was perfect, and that was my best goal ever.
Did you do the dentist chair celebration?
No, I mean, I very much didn't get that. I was 10 years old. I didn't know what was going on with that celebration, and it was hard concrete to be falling on, to be honest.
Talking of Paul Gascoigne, he played for Spurs. Let's have their fixtures.
Okay, so sorry, Mike. Okay, so they've got Villa this week. Then they've got Newcastle, Man United, Everton, Southampton, Sheffield United, Leeds, Wolves, Villa, Leicester. It's not bad.
Not a bad running at all, that. I like that. And yeah, like so many teams this season, they're very difficult to call as to which Spurs is going to turn up. I mean, only with Spurs can you decide which Spurs are going to turn up, but you get my point. I quite like that. I'd look at a 7 there.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah, the issue is, like Mourinho, he spent all season bagging Bale until the last few weeks. Then Bale had a good game last weekend. Then Mourinho took all the credit for that by saying, "Yeah, well, it's not his physical ability, it's his mental ability I needed to work on." And now he's great, which I think embarrassed Bale, which is why Bale then decided not to play against Arsenal. And Mourinho then dug him out and said, he wasn't backtracking enough, so I had to get rid.
Oh, it's a bit like I remember watching the early series of Big Brother. They used to have the Sunday night was a psychologist episode. It's a bit like listening to that with you and your take on the management skills of Mourinho.
Well, I mean, it's factual. That's what actually happened this weekend.
Okay. So
6.5, I'd go.
Oh, really, Phil?
Yeah, they've got a blank in there. I don't. Get them. You've got teams at the start who've of this run who've got a good start. So get them in and then ship them out. Yeah. I would say Spurs are good for the end of the season. So from game week 34 onwards.
Oh yeah, good. Well, who was it that had a great start coming up? Southampton, wasn't it? Southampton then swap out for Spurs.
Yeah. Which, to be honest, is standard transfer policy for Southampton players. That or Liverpool. Okay. Yeah, let's move on to West Brom, who look absolutely terrible. I can't believe I've fallen for Pereira again. They've got no one.
Happened?
I mean, I've no idea how I've done it, because he used to be on set pieces, but now he's not. Conor Gallagher is. So it's the worst transfer I've made all season, and I've still got him.
Incredible.
No one this week. Then they got Chelsea, Southampton, Leicester, Villa, Wolves, Arsenal, Liverpool, West Ham, Leeds. They are going down.
Comfortably so, yeah.
With a whimper.
No real assets here as the boys. Looking at their top 3. Johnson, the goalkeeper, who's been probably their only shining light this season. Pereira and Bartley. I mean, it's all really irrelevant, isn't it? They're going to be relegated probably with 2 or 3 games to go. So you're looking at a 2 or a 3, aren't you? Really?
Yeah, I'd say 3 would be generous for West Brom. Sorry, West Brom fans. 2 for me.
Okay, couple of teams left. West Ham and Wolves.
Yeah, West Ham. So they've got games. They're one of the only teams without a blank. So they've got Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester, Newcastle, Chelsea, Burnley, Everton, Brighton, West Brom, Southampton to end. So another team with a good set of fixtures for the second half. They got 10 games to go. Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester, Newcastle, Chelsea, Burnley, Everton, Brighton, West Brom, Southampton. That's pretty nice to end on.
Well, they're picking up points in games that you wouldn't necessarily expect them to. I don't think that's a bad run. That feels like another 6.5 to me.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. I mean, even in the games they're losing, they've put in a really good shift. They only lost narrowly to the own goal last night. Went to the Etihad, only lost 2-1. Could have easily got something out of that game. They're having an unbelievable season, West Ham, and it feels like they're not going to tail off either. It feels like they're going to be in this for the long haul. They've got the bonus of this actually having a game this game week. Yeah, 6.5 or a 7 for me.
I'd be going 8.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, their assets are cheap.
Dawson at 4.5 million.
Yeah, great shout.
700 years old, bless him, but still playing well.
Look
Do
at
you
his
know what
form,
he
boys.
is?
4.4.
Do you know what he is? This is going to blow your mind.
Oh, he is. Oh,
Younger than us.
He's at least 92.
He is 30.
I'm
No.
sorry? What,
You heard me.
Dawson?
Yep.
Is he?
What?
He's
Yep.
5 years younger than me.
I know. I couldn't
He's been
believe
around
it.
forever.
Couldn't believe it. He's 30.
That's I mean, that's 10 years younger than you, Mike. That is an incredible stat. That has blown my mind.
Lovely dig. Lovely dig.
It's actually more than 10 years, but that's fine. Anyway, let's not. So, yeah, I really like Dawson. He's in the top 5 for form at the moment, at 4.5 million. Diop as well at 4.3. And then you've got the obvious 2 at the top there, Cresswell and Lingard. But Diop and Dawson for differentials in defence.
I mean, they're just full of options. Souček and Antonio, you haven't mentioned them. And
well, they're not in great form. Antonio's not in great form, nor Souček. So,
what about Jared Bowen as well, boys? Who's their 4th highest FPL point scorer, 96 points this season, only 1.6%.
Yeah, but he's not really been at it of late. That's my worry.
He's not really been at it all season, but he's just ticked along and picked up the odd assist here and there, and it's all added up.
Yeah,
good bench fodder.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely been looking at West Ham assets because I just think they're cheap.
Yeah. Okay. So
7?
What did we decide on that? 7.5.
Well, let's go 7.
Yeah, let's go 7. Yeah.
Yeah, been outvoted. That's fine. Next one then. Last team is Wolverhampton Wanderers, who are just about to lose 7-0 to Mohamed Salah. I mean Liverpool. It's going to be a big 24 minutes for Salah because it's still 1-0. I mean, I don't know how he's going to do it. I mean, it's still 1-0 at the moment. And
Love that.
I know how they're going to do it. James Milner's just come on. Whew,
good. Thank goodness he's good for an assist or 2.
Wolverhampton Wanderers then have nothing this week. They have West Ham, Fulham, Sheffield United, Burnley, West Brom, Brighton, Spurs, Everton, Man United.
Well, I mean, there's a real purple patch in the middle there, boys, isn't there? Winnable games, but Wolves have just been meh this year, haven't they?
Yeah.
Asset-wise, well, Neto sat there with their highest points total with 117. Patricio with 102. Those are the only ones in triple figures. And that kind of tells them the amount of ownership they've got as well. 2, 3, 4, 5% for most of their players. I mean, they're winnable games, aren't they, boys?
Neto's quite an interesting one. I saw a stat earlier that Neto has been responsible for, if you add up all the goals and all the assists that they've had this season, it won't take long. Neto has been responsible for 1/3 of them.
Wow.
It's pretty high
That's
stats,
a stat.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because this time last season, Traore was, everyone was getting Traore in, and he's done absolutely nothing this year. He's been really disappointing.
And
Traore.
yet, Traore is the 5th most informed player for Wolves, and above Neto.
But he hasn't. I don't think he hadn't. Certainly, until a few weeks ago, at least, he hasn't done anything all season. No goals, no assists, nothing. Has he?
Well, I think that speaks volumes about Wolves, really. Let me have a quick look.
He's got no goals, 2 assists all season.
Yeah, he had a 6 and a 4 3 weeks back, and that's managed to put him in the top 5 for form in terms of Wolves players.
Wow.
Yeah. So what we're giving Wolves, given their form, I can't see better than I'd probably go for a 5 to be honest, but
those are winnable games, there, boys. They got some bit of fodder in those fixtures, haven't they?
Yeah, they tail off towards the end with Spurs, Everton, Man United. But their next fixtures after the blank game week: West Ham, Fulham, Sheffield United, Burnley, West Brom, Brighton. And I reckon that Traore, who gets more oil than Tin Man did in Wizard of Oz, he could be the player to bring in. He's got to come good at some point this season.
Okay. Do you know what this has inspired me to do, lads? This has inspired me. I'll give you the top 5 in a minute.
Is it to get your hair done at professionals?
I'd love to, but I'm a law-abiding citizen even. I I'm going to give myself another wild card. That's what I've decided.
You must understand that's not how the game works.
What's going on?
I'm going to just sort of pretend that I've got a wild card and just make loads of transfers. I mean, I'll do that most weeks, but
I was going to say you act like a wild card every week.
Once this game week's gone, I'm going to set myself up for the last 10. I've made some notes. I hope everyone else listening has done as well. Your top five looks like this. Teams. They are in pretty much order, I think. Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Burnley, West Ham.
Burnley
have got into our top 5.
Chelsea,
what sort of
Liverpool,
podcast is
Arsenal, this? Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Burnley, West Ham.
This is absolute madness, boys. Can we just reverse this a second?
So, I mean, there you go.
The facts speak for themselves. And for all we know, Ant, Mike was in charge of the numbers. We've seen, how that's worked out so far with him this season. So this could be made up. He's probably planted Burnley, so we all fall for it. But I believe him for now.
They're there on merit.
Well, hopefully, listeners, and viewers, apologies for the 2 minutes viewers had to deal with whilst I was absent.
I'll be honest, but
hopefully it's been helpful.
I don't mind telling you, and I don't think listeners will be offended. We've got great numbers, and thank you to all those that are tuning in, week out, via various podcast platforms. The live watch-alongs, we only had a total of 2 tonight, and they both disappeared at the point at which you said you were going to go for a wee. Now, I don't know whether that is because...
I'll take it. That's a compliment, isn't it?
Take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
But that's I'm just telling it like it is. Listeners on podcast platforms has been fantastic. Watch along, not so great, especially when you need to take toilet trips. So,
well, I mean, I didn't even say that. To be fair, with the watch along, I didn't even put a post out because we're really not we're not a glitzy, glamorous YouTube production. We are more an audio podcast, but we're here if people want to watch us on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so not posthumously, that's when we've died, but I mean, you can watch after we've died as well, but post recording it gets more views than live, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Right. Look, we've got to go. I need to finish with some Genesis. But just in one word, your punt for this week, please.
I know you don't want me to talk, please. I don't want to interrupt you like Partridge, but I'm just intrigued. Anthony, who are the 4 players you've got playing this week, and how much of a hit are you willing to take?
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, yeah, just very quickly. Yeah, I'm going to make at least 2 or 3 transfers here, boys, because all I have at the moment is, let me very quickly get my team up. 2 seconds. I've got Harry Kane. I've got Martinez in goal. I've got Patrick Bamford, who may not even play, and I've got Ollie Watkins.
One of your players is injured as well.
Yeah, so I've technically probably got 3. But yeah, I'll be making at least 2 or 3 transfers this week, boys. I don't want to go too heavy because there's no point for me.
Yeah, it's valid. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring week, so
no.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, then. So our punts. All
right.
Boys.
Mings, Lingard, Rafinha, Kane, Bale, Cresswell. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I don't even.
I know.
That is a decent 5-a-side team.
Sorry, I'm not of any consequence. I know that, lads. I'm so far out the picture.
So many teams are going to be the same.
Yeah.
So
there's going to be a lot of Leeds assets in there.
So your punts then. So anyone that you can find that's playing. Who have you got for them, Mike?
Yves Bissouma.
John McGinn.
Okay. I'm going to go Jared Bowen, seeing as you mentioned him, Anthony.
Yeah, there you go. 1.6% I saw earlier.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So, so there's 20 minutes left in the Liverpool game. It's going to be. What is happening, Michael?
I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Okay. Well, there's 15 minutes actually left in the Liverpool game, and Salah's got to score 7 goals for me. So I'm going to go and watch that, which leaves me only to say thank you for listening, tuning in. Mike, that is so
irritating. The key to my survival.
Oh gosh, how does he do this every week?
Never in much doubt. I'm not sure how the verse goes for this. The question was how I could keep sane
and enjoy. He started very high.
Find a way out. Things were never easy for me. Peace of mind was hard to find. We're going to get there in a minute, lads. Remember,
and I needed a place
Could had. Oh, someone could come out. Oh, mate, that's a really
Well,
long intro.
if the live viewers hadn't left,
Oh, it's a really. You're no son of mine.
that's
Oh,
what
wow.
it's
No,
all
son.
about.
You're no son of mine.
I mean, every week I have to remind people you are teetotal and you do not drink.
It seems. Imagine if he did.
I mean, please stop. It's very
Well,
annoying.
It hasn't even got to the no son of mine thing. That's the frustration.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I mean, this is getting edited out of the audio.
Is it?
I mean, it
Oh,
was
no.
bizarrely strange, Michael.
Oh, hold on. I think we might be there.
Jim,
One more
why
line,
don't you
maybe?
just sing that bit?
I did, didn't I? You know,
Oh.
son. Oh, it's getting quicker. No.
Oh, no,
It's
this
a
is a
really
mess.
long intro.
This is a mess.
Anyway,
Oh,
everyone, have a
no.
great week. Have a great week. And
Goodbye, guys. I'm done.
Goodbye. Oh, here we go.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
You're no son of mine. You're
Did
no
it actually just
son,
take 2.5
you're
minutes to get to this
son
point?
of mine. I don't know what happens
Good
after that.
grief.
Good night.
nightmares, I imagine. Bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.